Hey, welcome to your Aquarius horoscopes for the week of the 7th through the 13th of January. And it is actually very interesting why we are spending so much time and wasting so much mental energy on worrying about why we have nobody to support us. Think about that for just a minute here. And we're going to get back to it. Well, we're going to start off, of course, with the moon coming into Aquarius right at the end of the week, about Thursday night into Friday. And that is, I think, going to create the support system problem here as the moon comes in on Friday, moves into a square with Jupiter. Pluto is already in a square with Jupiter. And Jupiter is really focused on self right now. With Pluto being 29 degrees Capricorn, it is influencing Aquarius pretty heavily at this particular point. So the moon comes in and amplifies this challenge. And, I feel like most of us Aquarians, we're very different. And it's that very different that makes us unique, but it's also that very different that creates a lot of complications for us as well, because we refuse to go with the grain and we'll do anything we possibly can to make sure that we're not in the group with everybody else. And so we wind up sort of separating ourselves from the group and then realizing we're all alone. And what do we do? Now we're scared and it's getting dark, right? It's sort of a really weird pattern that we get into, at least something that I have noticed a lot, especially in the last year or so. This challenge is difficult because if Pluto is saying that you have to change in order to harness the power in your career, in order to make your career how it is, and Pluto is all about growth and expansion of yourself and bigger, better, more. But this is saying you can't do that. You have to change you in order to be successful in your career, or you have to change careers in order to be successful for you. And honestly, the worst thing in the world to me is when somebody comes up to me and says, "You're a bit too much, and I need you to tone it down a little bit." That pisses me off so much. I know I'm a bit too much. I am proud of being a bit too much. And while I understand that not all personalities can deal with that, the entire world is always telling me I'm a bit too much, that I need to dim my light a little bit, that I need to do this and that and the other thing. And I always take that as I am on the right track and doing the right thing because people are complaining. They're uncomfortable with it. This is why we go against the grain, because our personalities are supposed to be, we are the agitators of the zodiac, but it does put us in a lonely place sometimes. The moon moving into that support system on Friday moves into a square with Uranus. So again, that emotional challenge of, you are too much for me is also showing up in our support system. And I think a lot of times, one of the things that I landed on really is that, and I feel like other Aquarians really understand this as well, is that sometimes when we reach out for support, we don't even know what kind of a support we need. But when we're reaching out, we're just reaching out to whoever can give it to us. And what we find is sort of a low vibration type of support. And that's not what we're looking for. It's like boring, move on. Can't I find anybody that understands where I'm coming from? Start talking to another Aquarian, and you might actually find that support, because honestly, we make it very difficult for people to understand all of this, if that makes sense. And that's okay. It's not that there's something wrong with us, and it's not like we have to bring ourselves down a couple of notches so people can. It means that we are on the right track to continuing the evolution of humanity and this planet by continuing to be different and to have problems that are just a little bit more complicated for most other people to handle. That's why they are ours. So I found myself in that position of feeling like I wasn't supported, and then realized that I did not have anybody around me to give me the support that I required, because this is my leg of the journey, and they haven't reached that leg of the journey yet. And that is okay. Truth be told, I had to remind myself that I'm an Aquarian woman. And what are Aquarians? Independent leaders. And that can be a lonely place. And that is okay sometimes. When you find yourself in the situation of, oh my God, I need somebody to understand me, call another Aquarian and get the right support that you need from somebody who really does understand what you're going through. That does help for me, for sure. Just make sure you pick the right one. Not all Aquarians are the same. I'm just saying. So, and that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link. Would really appreciate that. Love the coffee, it fuels everything around here. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. You guys, be your biggest supporter. That's what we do. And make it a great week. See you next week.